Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Don gave me the. All right. Well, good evening. Welcome to Winterville Town Council meeting. Today is Monday, June the 9th, 2025. The time is now 6:02. Our invocation tonight will be given by Councilwoman Robinson, and after the invocation, we will all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Our Heavenly Father, we give thanks. We give thanks for the wonderful weather. We give thanks for our wonderful community. And we give double thanks for the people that have joined us tonight in interest of town government. Let the decisions that we make be good for our community. In your name, amen.
Amen. Thank you. Could y'all stand, face the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Again, I'd like to welcome everyone to our town meeting tonight. I'm your mayor, Ricky Hines, and thank everybody for showing up, and thank everybody that may be streaming us online tonight. Tonight is a kind of important night. We're going to be looking to pass our budget going into 2026 tonight. So without further ado, we're going to turn it over for a roll call. We're going to use the clickers tonight. Okay, if you could use your clickers, please. All right, look like everyone is here. All right. Next up is the approval of the agenda. Before we go to the approval of the agenda, Madam Manager, is there anything that needs to be added or removed?
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. I did just want to call your attention to the amended agenda that you have copies of at your seats. It does add a second presentation entitled ECU Class Study Results, and I believe that was the only change.
All right. With that being said, can I get a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilwoman Hawkins, second by Councilwoman Smith. If you could get your clickers, please. Motion carried. Thank you. Next up is recognition of new employees, and is it
Yes,
Chief or?
Chief Williams. He's not new, but.
Okay, I didn't know whether Angie was gonna.
But could be both.
Yeah, okay.
Evening, Mayor, Council. So tonight we have two new fine employees for the Winterville Police Department I'd like to introduce you to. First, Officer Devin Ivey. Officer Ivey comes to us from the United States military. You may have seen him around before. He's been with the town actually about a year and a half, but into his training initially, he was called for a military mission in Texas and was gone for about a year. So when he returned, he had to complete all his training all over again. So he's doubly smart than the rest of us. And he's proven himself to be a great asset to D-Shift. He's a wonderful guy. Secondly, we have Mr. Jermaine Whitaker. First, he is married with a family. He lives here in the town of Winterville, so he is not only a cop where he lives. He comes to us from the world of transportation, driving big trucks and everything. He won't tell me what his CV handle was, so he's very smart, very level-headed, which we like around here. He is still in his training program right now and is assigned with an officer at the moment, but we are looking forward to big things from Officer Whitaker as well. Anything you guys want to say?
Well, on behalf of the council, we just like to say welcome and thank you both, of course, for choosing Winterville to have your career in law enforcement here with us, and we really appreciate the service that y'all render to our citizens. Thank you. Next up is proclamations. Town Clerk Harvey. Yes, the please, sir.
Okay. First proclamation tonight is Juneteenth Freedom Day, which is Thursday, June 19th this year. Whereas our country is made up of people from every nation on earth who are declared equal not only in freedom but also in justice, both of which are essential for a healthy human civilization. Whereas our nation was conceived on July 4th, 1776, with the Declaration of Independence, the classic statement being, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." Whereas at 2 p.m. on New Year's Day, January 1, 1863, using his war powers as president, Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation, providing that all persons held as slaves within the state, any state, or designated part of the state shall be thenceforth and forever free. And whereas it took almost 2.5 years for the news of freedom to gradually disseminate through the nation, on June 19, 1865, Union soldiers arrived in Galveston, Texas, and issued General Order Number 3 announcing freedom to some of the last slaves in America. This involves an absolute equality of personal rights and rights of property between former masters and slaves, and the connection theretofore exists between them, become that between employer and hired labor. And whereas June 19 or Juneteenth has now been declared for 155 years and is nationally recognized as the National Freedom Day, commemorating the abolition or sanctioned slavery in the United States. And now therefore I, Richard E. Hines, Mayor of the Town of Winterville, hereby proclaim Thursday, June 19, 2025 as Juneteenth Freedom Day 2025. Acknowledge and celebrate this critical day in African American history, and encourage all residents to learn more about this day and join in its celebration. In witness whereof, I do set my hand and cause the seal of Winterville to be affixed this 9th day of June, 2025. The next proclamation is Parks and Recreation Month. Whereas Parks and Recreation are an integral part of communities throughout this country, including the town of Winterville, and whereas Parks and Recreation promote health and wellness, improving the physical and mental health of people who live near parks, and whereas Parks and Recreation promote time spent in nature, which positively impacts mental health by increasing cognitive performance and well-being, and alleviating illnesses such as depression, attention deficit disorder, and Alzheimer's. And whereas Parks and Recreation encourage physical activities by providing space for popular sports, hiking trails, swimming pools, and many other activities designed to promote active lifestyles. And whereas Parks and Recreation are leading provider of healthy meals, nutrition services, and education, and whereas Park and Recreation programming and education activities such as out-of-school time programming, youth sports, and environmental education are critical to childhood development. And whereas Parks and Recreation increase a community's economic prosperity through increased property values, expansion of the local tax base, increased tourism, the attraction and retention of businesses, and crime reduction. And whereas Parks and Recreation are fundamental to the environmental well-being of our community, and whereas Parks and Recreation are essential and adaptable infrastructure that makes our communities resilient in the face of natural disasters and climate change, and whereas our Parks and Recreation, natural recreation areas ensure the ecological beauty of our community and provide a place for children and adults to connect with nature and recreate outdoors. And now, therefore, I, Richard E. Hines, Mayor of the Town of Winterville, hereby proclaim July as Parks and Recreation Month. In witness whereof, I do set my hand and cause the seal of Winterville to be affixed this 9th day of June, 2025. Flag Day, Saturday, June 14th. Whereas Americans have long observed Flag Day on June 14 as a time to honor our nation's symbol of freedom and democracy, and whereas the flag resolution of 1777 determined that the flag of the then 13 colonies of the United States would bear 13 stripes, alternating red and white, with a blue field filled with 13 white stars. Whereas the first celebration of the American flag's birthday was held in 1877 on the 100th anniversary of its inception in 1916. This anniversary became a nationally observed event through a proclamation by President Woodrow Wilson, which was followed by the designation of National Flag Day by Congress on June 14, 1949. And whereas today Flag Day is celebrated with parades, essay contests, ceremonies, and picnics sponsored by veterans groups and other organizations to recognize the traditions, history, pride, and respect that Old Glory represents. And whereas on Flag Day we honor the service members and veterans of the United States Armed Forces who have made sacrifices to protect the freedoms that are symbolized by the American flag. Whereas the town of Winterville joins all Americans in celebrating Flag Day and commemorating our nation's emblem for the hope it still inspires in the American people. Therefore, I, Richard E. Hines, therefore, Mayor of the Town of Winterville, do hereby proclaim June 14th, 2025 as Flag Day in the Town of Winterville and commend its observance to all citizens. The witness whereof I do set my hand and cause the seal of Winterville to be affixed this 9th day of June, 2025. Father's Day, Sunday, June 15th. Whereas a special bond exists between a father and his children, on Father's Day we recognize the important role fathers play in the American family, and we honor them for their strength, love, and commitment. Whereas it is officially proclaimed national observance, whereas fathers have a duty to love their children with all their hearts and prepare them to be independent, compassionate, and responsible citizens. Father's word and actions are critical in shaping the character of his children. The father's love helps teach them right from wrong, explains them the consequences of bad decision, and strengthens them with encouragement. Whereas as we honor our fathers on this day, we express our heartfelt appreciation for their leadership, support, and protection for their children and families. We particularly recognize the many fathers who are far from home, serving our nation and defending the cause of freedom around the world. They have answered a call and live by a code of honor and duty that serves as an example for their sons and daughters and for all Americans. Therefore, I, Richard E. Hines, Mayor of the Town of Winterville, do hereby proclaim Sunday, June 15th, 2025, as Father's Day, and encourage all Americans to express love, admiration, and thanks to their fathers for their contributions to our lives and to society. In witness whereof, I do set my hand and cause the seal of Winterville to be affixed this 9th day of June, 2025.
And thank you, Mr. Harvey. I really appreciate that. Y'all give Mr. Harvey a hand. Thank you, guys. So next up, we have our presentation from the Winterville Human Relations Board.
Mayor, if I could, I'm going to pass out
Yes, ma'am.
some parts of the presentation so you all can have a glimpse. And then for the public, we will publish these so that you all will have a visual of what we are presenting.
Yes. Thank you, Councilwoman Hawkins. Good evening, Mayor, council members, everyone in the room. I'm really proud about being a part of the Human Relations Board here in Winterville. And we wanted to take a moment to, share some of the work that we have been doing so far in the community. We've been really intentional about creating spaces for connection, listening, and care, because that's, being in the community, that's what this work is about. So one of our first events or gatherings was at the Winterville Watermelon Festival. We had a chance to really, just get out there and show up and introduce who we were to the people. We had a lot of great conversations, and most importantly, we had an opportunity to just, hear directly from the people. They stopped by, they asked questions, they gave a lot of great feedback and things that are happening in the town and things that they wanted to see. And I believe we were able to be that bridge for them there. And the next thing in December, we stepped into the season of giving, where we wanted to do something meaningful and personal for some of our elderly here in Winterville. We had about 25 blankets from people giving us names that were within the community. We were able to give them blankets. And it was such a beautiful experience to be able to connect with them, kind of sharing stories and laughter in those moments. And one in particular stood out with me personally. We met with Miss Linda McDonald. She is currently a resident here in Winterville. We showed up to her home, going to deliver a gift to her. And we ended up getting more than what we, anticipated on getting, just having a conversation with her. She ended up giving each of us a word of encouragement that I truly believe in that moment definitely lifted up all of our spirits. And in that moment, it was very clear to me that this work is more about giving. It's about the genuine connection and the impact that we have, together in the community. And in the month of May, we had a mental health awareness event. We hosted an event, that was focused on emotional well-being and healing. And because, we talk about, whether or not we talk about it or not, mental health impacts each of us every day. Whether it's grief from a loss, depression, anxiety, or just trying to keep it together on a day-to-day basis, right? Mental health is real. And being in that room, hearing people open up and realizing that you're not alone, it was definitely a reminder for us that healing happens when we can create a safe space for people to be able to open up, and it definitely mattered. And we were honored to, be joined by Miss Aquila from One Community with Trillium. She definitely provided a lot of powerful insights and essential tools for the people that were in the room. Her message reminded us that the support in the community is definitely available and nobody has to walk this journey alone. We also had the privilege of having Dr. Wallace Allen there. He definitely brought a different perspective when it concerning mental health, deep and grounded perspective for our community. He spoke on topics that are not often spoken about, moral injury, PTSD, grief, and things of that nature, and reminded us that healing isn't just about physical, but also on an emotional level and spiritually as well. He gave us a lot of language for the things that a lot of us aren't able to articulate. So I think, it was an amazing event. And I just want to thank Mayor Pro Tem Moy for sharing a powerful testimony. And I really believe that opened the doors to allow other people to share some things that they, were going through and dealt with as well. And Councilwoman Harrell sharing some of her knowledge, being that she does a lot of work in the mental health field. And I really, truly believe that's what leadership looks like. And I believe that being in that space, a lot of people got a lot of tools that they needed at that event as well. And most recently, we had a community roundtable, where the town really showed up, and I appreciate every last one of you. The council that showed up, every head here showed up. The residents came and they spoke honestly. We were able to have open dialogue on what's working, what's not, and what's needed and how we can get better as a town together. And one thing that became clear to me at that event is that we all care about Winterville, right? We all care. Granted, we may all have different walks of life, but it's about working towards the same goal. And that's moving forward and showing up and listening and working together to make the town of Winterville better for everyone. I would also like to thank the Winterville Fire Department, because you guys set up for us. We appreciate you guys. As well as everybody that came together and made this event possible, with the staff, volunteers, and the residents that showed up. It was powerful. It's truly a privilege to serve here, and we look forward to continuing to work with the people of Winterville. So I just want to thank everybody. Thank you.
We'd like to thank the Human Relations Board also, and that's just one of the boards that we have here in town. So if you're a citizen here, I encourage you to make sure that you fill out an application to be a part of one of these great boards that we have here at the town of Winterville. Next up, we have ECU class study results.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I am Tristan Daughtry. I am the town's Economic Development Planner.
And I am Rebecca Cabinus. I'm the Executive Director for the Winterville Chamber of Commerce.
We are excited to share some highlights from a recent project that we participated in with an ECU class that offered both valuable insights and fresh perspectives. We'd also like to share with you one way we would like to implement some of the findings from this project. A full written report is available, and we're happy to share that with you guys, but we first wanted to briefly walk through some of the key highlights from that project. Prior to the holidays, we were contacted by Dr. Emily Yeager from ECU's College of Health and Human Performance in the Department of Recreation and Leisure Studies. She inquired about a potential student project for the spring semester. In partnership with the Winterville Chamber, we served as the community partner for her undergraduate and graduate class in tourism, planning, and entrepreneurship. The project focused on studying our downtown and offering recommendations for future growth, collaboration, and strategies to increase foot traffic. Final presentations were on May 5th, and we're here this evening to share some of the highlights from that presentation. The project kicked off with hosting Dr. Yeager and her class of 34 students at Town Hall. Staff gave an overview of their roles, the town's demographics, our growth over time, and how we expect the growth to continue. We also took the students on a walking tour of downtown where they interacted with local business owners and heard their perspectives on doing business in Winterville. The class represented a wide range of backgrounds, interests, and perspectives, which brought a valuable lens to the project, especially as we think about how to create a downtown that is welcoming and engaging for all. Many students later shared that they hadn't known anything about Winterville, all in relation to them being students at East Carolina University right across town, but we're now drawn to our breweries, restaurants, and events. These are soon-to-be professionals looking for places to live and grow in their careers post-graduation, and we had the opportunity to introduce them to our town. The next phase involved research and case studies where the class examined peer communities with similar populations, demographics, and economic characteristics to identify initiatives that have helped energize their downtowns. One of the most impactful components and what we'll focus on tonight was the Intercept survey. So one Friday night during the semester, the entire class spread out downtown between the hours of 6 and 8 p.m., surveying willing participants near Local Oak, Tiebreakers, Marlins, Naughty Dog, and Main and Mill. Based on all the research and the survey findings, the class concluded the project with a set of thoughtful recommendations on how we can continue to grow and enhance our downtown offerings. So the main focus of the presentation tonight is the Intercept survey, which was conducted downtown, which was aimed to build a profile of our residents and our visitors. We wanted to understand how people are getting here, how often they visit, how much they typically spend, and what they'd like to see added in our downtown. We also asked what other events they attended beyond visiting our local businesses. So during the survey, 160 surveys were completed, and those are participants that were willing to take the time. That doesn't represent everyone that was downtown that night. This also only represents one person per family, so it's not duplicated in between families. So the most common mode of transportation to downtown was personal car, not rideshare services, any type of public transportation, or walking from residents. Average visitation to downtown Winterville was 5 times a month. The most common visitor group type was 2 adults with 1 or no children. The most common expenditures downtown were food and drinks, with an average of $71 spent per respondent. And most common marketing outlet to learn about Winterville events was word of mouth. And like I said, we have all of this data packed together, and we'd be happy to share that with you. These are just the averages. So the average amount spent in downtown Winterville was broaching $75 per respondent. All of that was on food, drinks, and meals. What this did was really kind of show us some of the gaps with what we're able to provide, all the services. There was quite a bit actually spent on transportation, so rideshare services and things to get in our downtown, which was interesting as we continue, thinking about how to grow our downtown and some of the challenges that we have.
So one aspect of the survey was to have them let us know the types of events that they're attending in the Winterville area right now. So obviously the biggest thing is the Watermelon Festival. That's a very popular event, so that was one of the biggest parts. We see some of the other things though that are hosted both by like Winterville Parks and Rec. We see things hosted by the Chamber. We see things hosted by the Winterville Historical and Art Society, but also by local businesses. Open mic nights being a popular one, but there's just a miscellaneous one that's events hosted by local businesses. So some of that's going to be like live music. We have bingo downtown. We have trivia night. There's lots of things that are always going on. And so this was just interesting to be able to take a look at this. And this data is going back to our businesses so that they can see what are people attending. So the highlights here are, these are the things that people said they would most like to see more of. So live music, we have the Christmas themed events because everybody loves good Christmas themed event, shopping locations, food trucks and concerts, and a social district. And just for those that maybe aren't as familiar with what a social district is, it's essentially just a designated or defined area where open containers of alcohol are permitted in accordance with the law. So City of Greenville currently has something like this. If I'm not mistaken, it's in the Pitt Street, Dickinson Avenue area, and it's specific days and times that they have it designated. And this is our full class. They presented actually here in this assembly room to us, so we wanted to kind of get to showcase them a little bit here. And that kind of gives us to an ask portion here. So key takeaways from the survey was residents and visitors want more options for live music, local shopping, food districts, and the social district. My proposal is that we utilize the event that already covers some of these with Market on the Square that has shopping, food trucks, and live music, and kind of step into the space of providing alcohol at a community event to gauge interest and response from the community. Prior to coming to you today, I did meet with Chief Williams and Lieutenant Hamilton to discuss this idea. Their preference and recommendation was that if we were granted permission to have our first remain on the grounds of Market Square and not have it encompass the full of the downtown area, as it would just make it a little bit easier to dip our toes in the water while maintaining better control of the situation. So it would be a little bit more similar to what is done currently at the Watermelon Festival with a beer garden and not a full social district. I also have already spoken with Local Oak Brewing Company, who is very interested in supporting an event like this by coming out to pour on site. They could literally walk there, so it was kind of a no-brainer for them, I think. As well as consulting with like our insurance company to make sure it was something that could be done. The primary goal here, though, is to be able to experiment in a safe and controlled manner the effect of allowing alcohol to be able to be served at a community-based event, both in the number of attendees that we have and in the engagement with our downtown businesses and market vendors. Our hope is that it would be able to provide a positive experience for everyone, and it can be something we build upon in the future. We know from the results of the survey that survey participants were interested in a social district, but we won't actually know the results of it until we try it. So the chamber does have an ask tonight, and that ask is for council to grant us permission to apply for an ABC permit for the July Market on the Square date. And if you have any questions, of course.
Just clarification, that's July 17th.
That's correct.
Yeah.
All right, first of all, thank you for gathering the survey. I think it was much needed. I came and saw the presentation that was put on, saw the students, and saw how excited they were. I couldn't believe how excited they were to be doing a survey, but obviously they had a great time. A lot of them talked about how great a time they had down in Winterville. Some said they had never been to Winterville. I think it was one student that was a resident of Winterville. In my other lifetime, other job, I have spoken to this group before, which is a great group of new planners and economic development people that are gonna be going out. So, but, this barbecue and brew market, I think it could be really good, So I'm gonna yield to the council if they have any questions, but if they don't have any questions, I would like to entertain a motion that we grant a one-time use permit for this barbecue and brew on the market.
Are we voting to grant or to do the application for it?
Yeah, motion to.
A motion
Right.
to give permission to apply for the
Right.
one-time special use.
Mhm.
So moved.
Have a motion, do I have a second? Okay.
This meets with the chief's recommendations.
So that was the first step that I had, was to meet with Chief Williams, and his recommendation was to keep it on the Market Square lot.
Now, we have a motion, and if I don't have a second, then the motion is gonna die for lack of a second. So, going once, going twice, motion died.
I'll second.
Okay, all right. I have a motion and a second. I have a motion made by Councilwoman Smith, second by Councilwoman Robinson to grant.
Yes. The applying for the one-time ABC permit to hold a beer garden of sorts at the July 17th market.
All right, now we can go to discussion. Mr. Moore, you had something you want to ask?
Yes, I was getting ready to ask if we could, I know that this is a fast turnaround time, so we are only speaking of a little more than 1 month. And I think that is something that we just don't need to make a fast decision without talking to the board. Let us make sure that what we are doing, that it will be the right thing to do. If you understand what I'm saying, I can say a lot more, but I think that's the best I can say at this time is I would love to have had the opportunity to discuss this, if nothing else, with the attorney, and then with the town manager, and then with the staff themselves, even with the chief. There are some questions and concerns that I do have in a situation like this. I don't see anything wrong with it. But there are some question marks in my mind that I got some concerns, and I would like to have those answered before I could make a clear, constant decision.
Based on my understanding, do they have to come to us to ask permission?
On town property, so the answer is
On
yes.
town
Yes.
property? Okay.
So this would be treated just like we approached the beer garden with the Watermelon Festival, same process. I think that, as always, Rebecca, Chamber, these ladies, they've approached me, we've discussed it. They've approached Chief Williams, that's been discussed. Happy to answer any questions. And just a reminder, there is no July meeting. So.
If there are any questions that I can possibly answer, I have done a lot of homework in this regard, so there's a fair chance that I'll be able to answer the question, hopefully, anyway.
Is anybody else have any question? If not, I call for the question. Willie, you got your slide? Okay. If you could please vote, please. Motion carried. The motion carried 3-2. Voting no is Councilwoman Hawkins and Mayor Pro Tem Boyd. Motion carried 3-2. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you so much, and we
Thank you.
will be sending you all the data from the presentation.
Okay.
Excellent, thank you.
Yes.
I'd like to speak.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to speak to share why I voted no. I voted no because this was presented to us just at that moment, and we were asked to make a decision on drinking and on a ABC permit, and we are not told the capacity. We were not told how regulations would be made in terms of driving, and people are having brew and barbecue, but we have a concern with driving here in Winterville, and I did not feel comfortable with us making that decision at that time. Had we had additional times and talking about the full parameters of this, I may have been more comfortable. But that was a bit too much for me to make a decision of a yes in my representation of everyone, including children, elderly, and everything else, and everyone else here in the town. And that is the purpose of why I voted no.
Thank you.
May I add this? Are we going to have a written copy of the requirements for this event? Because we're opening the door here. So could we have like a written copy of what the town requires of the chamber to do this event? Because we are going to have other requests coming in.
Yeah,
And we do
the-
want
the
to treat
answer-
everybody the same.
The answer is yes, but keep in mind, this is a collaborative project. They've taken over our market on the square, so they're running the market on the square for us. So it's more of a collaboration than there would be, say, for instance, a completely private, separate event on town property. Does that make sense? So to answer your question, yes, I mean, we can certainly provide you the wheres and the what-fors, but my understanding currently is we don't have a policy for renting out that property. And obviously, we'd need a policy for that could encompass alcohol sales if you are so inclined. But the reason that I feel more comfortable with this particular issue is because it's a combined effort with the chamber, not a standalone event.
You know, I've already fielded several requests
Yes,
for
ma'am.
use of the Market Square from groups,
Right,
and more are going to come, you know.
so if council's inclined to want us to put together a policy until this property's developed, because once it's developed, that could change the way it's used, then we're happy to take a shot at that if you choose to rent it out. But there'll be that's a fairly, it's unusual, and I understand why it's attractive to people to want to use.
Town Manager Parker, that is that would be in one of my concerns, and you answered my question. So those are the things I wasn't aware of, but you was aware of it.
Yes, sir.
And how long, can I ask,
About
this event?
well, I mean, I've been discussing it, I would say, a few months.
3 months? I just received it. If I had it for 3 months, my mind would be a little bit clearer, and I could be able to give a decision that I will be,
Understood.
clearly. That's the reason why I chose to say no.
Mayor,
I like,
go ahead. Been waiting patiently, sorry.
Go
I
ahead.
just want to make sure, a point of clarification, we have not just approved for this event, we've approved for them to apply
Right.
for the license through the governing entities that would do such.
Right.
We've not approved it, that's not our role, we've approved for them to apply.
But you've in essence approved for that to be done on town
Right.
property. Yes,
Contingent on the
on the
approval.
approval, correct, absolutely.
I'd like to ask that we do receive, policies and procedures within at least the next 7 to 10 business days on what that looks like, the who, what, when, where, and how. Again, I've, spoken before, even as a town without a strategic direction and things of that nature, we run the risk of, our citizens, inquiring, and we don't have full answers about our direction and so on and so forth. So if we could get that within the next 7 to 10 business days.
If I could ask, just for clarification on what you're requesting.
What we're just speaking about, the policies and procedures, or what, we were just speaking about as far as the market on the square, what what Councilwoman Robinson was asking about.
So if you're talking about policies and procedures for rental of that property to outside agencies, that's probably gonna take longer than 10 business days.
Okay, how long will that take?
I would at least need till probably the 1st of January. I mean, July, sorry, July.
Oh, okay.
July.
Say, I'll help you right. Okay, so.
July.
Okay, all right, well, we can discuss it further after, thank you.
And I would ask for a council vote on that if that's where you all are choosing to go.
All right.
So I'd like to make a motion that we receive the policies and procedures for rental of the Market Square.
Second.
Okay. I have a motion on the floor, motion made by Dr. Brandon Harrell, second by Councilwoman Hawkins, that we
Develop policies and procedures for rental of
develop
market
a
property.
policy and procedure for the market on the square. Any discussion before we move?
That's for the use of the market on Square, correct?
Yes,
Yes,
the use of the rental, yes.
okay.
Yes.
Any discussion, Councilwoman Hawkins?
And the discussion, I just wanted to point out, while we're speaking of this, although that motion was for application, that event, the flyer and everything else has been printed for July 17th. So prospectively, this will be approved. Although it's for application, it will be approved, and just a little bit more information or leeway or transparency to the council in what we're approving, because at the end of the day, whether it goes great or not so great, that lends on what our vote has been. And so that is why I could not do it in good conscience, and I just wanted to mention that.
Okay, thank you. We have a, you got your slide, or do we need to, okay.
Wrong slide.
Wrong slide.
Thank you.
Mhm. If you could, please vote, please. All right, motion carried. Thank you. All right. Next, we're gonna move on to our public hearing. Stephen, if you could come to the podium, please.
Good evening, Mayor and Town Council. We do have 4 public hearings today. The first one is 2020 Global Investments, or 478 Vernon White Road. So this is located on Vernon White Road. If we look at this map right here, Old Tar Road goes north to south over here. This over here is, so this is where Beacon Drive would be going north right here. So we're right here on Vernon White Road near Blackstone. Owners, Eugene Wang. Again, this is 478 Vernon White Road. It's a 0.5 acre site. They are expecting to build 1 single family home. In fact, it's under construction right now. This is just a boundary survey of the property. Staff does recommend approval of this annexation and for it to become effective June 30th, 2025. Does anybody have any questions before opening the public hearing? Thank you.
Okay. If there's no questions, I would like to open the public hearing for the 2020 Global Investment Annexation. If there's anyone here that would like to speak against this annexation, could they please step to the podium and please state your name? Again, if you like to oppose this annexation, if you would step to the podium and state your name. Okay, if there's anyone here that is for the annexation who would like to speak, they could please step to the podium and state their name. Okay, with that being no one to stand, I now close the public hearing. And what is the pleasure of our board?
I make a motion that we approve the annexation with an effective date of June 30th, 2025.
Second.
Have a motion made by Councilman Moy, second by Councilwoman Dr. Brandy Harrell to approve the annexation, the 2020 Global Investment Annexation with approval date, you said June 30?
Yes, effective date.
Effective date, June 30th.
Yes.
All right, if there's no other discussion, could you use your clicker, please? Motion carried unanimously. Next up, Stephen, we have Quail Trace annexation.
Yes, so next one is the Quail Trace annexation. This is located between Reedy Branch Road and Highway 11. Again, Highway 11's north to south right here. Reedy Branch Road north to south here. Lori Ellis Road, the new extension, comes into Highway 11 right here, just to give you a little bit of understanding where we're located. The owners and applicants are Ryan and Dan McLaughlin, again located near Reedy Branch, or near Summer Winds on Reedy Branch Road. This is a 34.18 acre site. It's expected to bring 85 new single-family detached homes. There will also be a common area / playground within the subdivision as well. Does anybody have any questions prior to opening the public hearing? Sorry, I do want to mention the annexation would become effective June 30th, and staff does recommend approval.
All right. I now open the public hearing for Quail Trace annexation. Again, I'm opening the public hearing for Quail Trace annexation. If anyone here would like to speak against Quail Trace annexation, please step to the podium and state your name if you would like to speak against. Okay. Is there anyone here that would like to speak in favor of Quail Trace annexation? Step to the podium, state your name, please, and name and address.
Mr. Mayor, Councilman, Council ladies. My name is Ryan McGlowhorn. I live at 5093 Reedy Branch Road. What you see up there on the map is the remaining part of our old family farm that for reasons that we need for now, financial reasons and family reasons, we need to sell. We have worked closely with the developer, Garden Street. We didn't want just anything put out there. We've been working on this project, I think Stephen can tell you, almost 8 years to find somebody that was responsible enough to make a good project for us. I think this is something the town of Winterville will be very proud of. I know you guys have looked at this property before. So I just want to let you know the family is all in agreement and hope that this property will be an asset to Winterville. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate you. Okay, is anyone else who would like to speak in favor? If there's no one else that would like to speak in favor, I now close the public hearing on Quail Trace annexation. And what is the pleasure of our board?
Motion to approve the Quail Trace annexation effective June 30th, 2025.
Second.
Have a motion made by Councilwoman Smith, second by Councilwoman Dr. Brandon Harrell, to approve Quail Trace annexation, annexation by June 30th. If there's no discussion, could we please hit your clicker? Motion carried. Thank you. Next up, Stephen, is the Hunsucker. I get it out.
Hunsucker rezoning. This is located, just to give you a quick understanding where we're looking at, right here off of Reedy Branch Road. So this is actually on the east side of Reedy Branch Road, so you have Highway 11 on this side going north to south. Again, got Reedy Branch Road going across the front of the site, got Church Street Extension over here. You're about 1 mile away from Reedy, Highway 11 going this way right here. So this is a 41.33 acre site located on Reedy Branch Road. The applicant is Linwood Stroud and Matthew Hunsucker. It's currently agricultural residential. They are requesting an R12.5 conditional district. So we did have this project come before you a few months ago. They were presenting a R10 conditional district in which 10% of the site was to remain open space. Tonight they are coming before you with an R12.5 conditional district. They have bumped up the size of the properties as well as meeting with the property owners adjacent to them to really bring together a project that is suitable for them and the adjoining property owners. It's actually one of the most impressive planning rezonings I've ever seen, definitely. It's a lot of respect to the applicant for this project. One of the conditions that is placed on this is adjacent to this subdivision is Colonial Woods. One of the conditions is that they will place a minimum of 15,000 square foot lots adjacent to Colonial Woods. So again, this is a R12.5 conditional district. There's going to be 15,000 square foot lots adjacent to Colonial Woods itself. There will also be a 23-foot wide drainage easement along the entire border of this subdivision and Colonial Woods. In addition, the exterior of the homes for this future subdivision must only consist of fiber cement board, brick, or stone. Finally, the eaves of the roof must be a minimum of 12-foot overhang. Notification was posted on this site. Adjacent property owners and those within 100 foot were also notified, as well as 2 notices within the Daily Reflector. This is a boundary survey showing the rezoning proposal of tonight. Looking at the existing land use, this land is currently vacant. In fact, this lighter green color that you see, all of this is vacant. However, just to the north, Brookstone has a planned development right here. South Brook is all of this site. We just approved a residential development on that one as well. You've got some single-family residential in Colonial Woods just to the southwest of this, as well as along the road. But as you see, mostly we're looking at single-family, kind of rural, residential, or agricultural vacant land within this area. Current zoning is kind of all over the place. You've got R20 right here just to the west of it. You've got R10 to the north and R15 conditional district as well to the north. You've also got South Brook just to the north of it as well. Most of it is going to be agricultural residential as we're getting kind of to the fringe of the town of Winterville to the south. Future land use plan is suggesting suburban residential for this site. So all of this right here is characterized suburban residential. Rural residential begins just to the south of this site once you cross over Reedy Branch Road. So suburban residential's character area is generally larger lot, lower density residential. So we're typically looking at R12.5, R15, or R20. Of course, we do consider R10 and R8 if additional open space and amenities are provided. Tonight, again, they are providing or proposing an R12.5, which does meet the standards of our land use plan. One of the economic development goals of the town of Winterville is to reinforce our town as a family-friendly community. And with this, supporting suburban residential and urban residential character areas for the future land use map and residential developments. We have received 2 letters of support for this development. I've dropped them off both in front of you. One of them is from Mr. Clifton Cahoon. He is a neighboring property owner. He lives just beside this property and is in support of this development. Second one is Mr. Kenneth Smith. He is a developer who owns property just adjacent to this property and is in support as well. This has gone before the Planning and Zoning Board, and they recommended approval of this project. The property owners, again, previously requested an R10 conditional district in which 10% of this site was to remain open space. This was denied at our January 2025 Town Council meeting, suggesting that the applicants meet with the neighboring property owners and determine an acceptable compromise. Today, the proposal is a R12.5 conditional district. They have proposed conditions above and beyond just the base 12.5 zoning districts and the requirements of the town themselves. The applicant has worked with the property owners to alleviate some of their concerns, and today's proposal, I genuinely believe, is a great collaboration between the 2 parties and a good project for this town. Staff does recommend approval of this development with the conditions. Planning and Zoning unanimously recommended approval at their April meeting. And staff believes that this proposal meets both the comprehensive land use plan, the future land use map, and is compatible with the existing developments and trends within the surrounding areas. Anybody have any questions for staff?
Anybody have any questions? If not, I declare the public hearing open for the Hunsucker rezoning. If anyone that would like to speak in opposition of this rezoning, please step to the podium, state your name and address. That would like to speak in opposition of this rezoning. Anyone that would like to speak in favor of this rezoning request, please step to the podium and state your name and address, please.
Mayor, members of the council, good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Clifton Cahoon. I live at 3309 Davie Street in Colonial Woods subdivision. The last time I was before you was the rezoning request back in January, which you unanimously denied, and you left a strong recommendation that the petitioner and the residents get together and negotiate some agreeable terms. We took that to heart. Worked very hard to do that. We feel like we have done that. You see several conditions in the application, but there was an additional condition. Staff did not want to include that in the application. It is for a buffer, a screening buffer, vegetative screening buffer. We understood why that didn't need to be included in the rezoning application. The town was concerned that, you know, they might have some sort of obligation or ties to trying to keep a vegetative buffer alive and properly maintained. So what we did, we drafted a memorandum of understanding between the residents and the petitioner, a separate memorandum of understanding for the terms of that vegetative buffer. I sent a letter to the town clerk today, my letter of support, and I'd just like to read that. On behalf of the residents of Colonial Woods subdivision, please be advised that we have negotiated with the property owners of the subject parcel for additional conditions of development in exchange for our support of their rezoning request. These conditions are separate and apart from the conditions contained in the application for rezoning with the town of Winterville. These additional conditions pertain to the establishment and perpetuation of a vegetative screening buffer along our common boundaries. The resulting memorandum of understanding executed on April 14th, 2025 is attached hereto. As a matter of information and record, we request that this letter of support and the attached memorandum of understanding, together with its supporting documentation, be included in the town's official file on this matter. We ask that it be included in the file to complete the story here, because it is part of the negotiations. It doesn't obligate the town to anything in the future. Just want it to be a part of public record that we negotiated this memorandum of understanding.
Thank you.
I got a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Who will maintain the buffer?
It's in the memorandum of understanding. It assigns responsibility to the HOA of the development. And there's particular conditions in there about the width, the height, what type of plant, and that the HOA will maintain it.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. Good evening, Mayor Hines and council members. My name is Matt Hunsucker, and I'm the applicant for this rezoning. I'm here representing my father and aunt who own the parcel. I want to thank Mr. Penn for his detailed overview of our application. I'll briefly highlight a few key points, and then I'm happy to address any questions you have. With me tonight is one of our engineers, Mr. Richie Brown, who can assist with any technical questions. First, I want to thank the council for the recommendation to spend time working with our neighbors to find an appropriate rezoning proposal that fits with everyone's wishes. I'm excited tonight to present our final agreement and pleased to have our neighbors here this evening to support our proposal. We first wrote letters to all of our surrounding neighbors, spoke to several by phone, and invited everyone to attend a community meeting that was held on January 30th. Several community members attended that meeting, including Mayor Hines, Mayor Pro Tem Moy, and Councilwoman Robertson. We thank you for your participation. After the community meeting, we met on site with Colonial Woods residents and held extensive conversations to arrive at the proposal you see here this evening. So a couple points on the R12.5. The R12.5 designation is specifically called for in the land use plan, so we are pleased to help Winterville execute on its vision for the area. Our goal with the R12.5 was to create an attainable housing development while also blending our neighborhood seamlessly with surrounding homes and subdivisions. If you'll recall the map that Mr. Penn shared, just to the north of our parcel, typical zoning densities are R6, R8, R10. Our parcel would be R12.5 with some R15 equivalents. To the west and south, you've got R20 and agricultural. Our proposal creates a variety of housing options in the area and provides a natural transition to the agricultural landscape to the south. I'll spend a moment to walk you through our conditions, which focus on three primary areas. First, adding 15,000 square foot lots adjacent to Colonial Woods subdivision provides a further transitional area to their R20 zoning. To ensure proper functioning of the drainage ditch between our property and Colonial Woods, we expanded the width of the drainage easement to better accommodate maintenance equipment and functionality. And finally, we also instituted some home quality measures to ensure modern and visually attractive homes. And those measures include a requirement for higher quality exterior materials and minimum roof overhangs. In conclusion, our family is deeply committed to Winterville's growth, but we want to do so in a thoughtful way. We are happy to work with our neighbors, and we agree to every single one of their requests. We look forward to creating another wonderful community in Winterville. Thank you for your time, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions.
Matt, I just have one question.
Yes.
Is that on a lateral? Is there a lateral running through there? Is a canal through there?
There's not one right now.
Okay.
But we do have permission to cross the canal with future water and sewer service.
All right. Okay. All right, that's the only question I have.
Anyone else?
Anyone else have any questions? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak in favor of this, please? Step to the podium, please.
Good evening. My name is David Lee. I live at 3325 Colonial Woods, and thank you, Mayor and Council, for your leadership and your service. And I wanted to also thank Cliff for our neighborhood, just his leadership and our coordination as a neighborhood, and also just the professionalism for the Hunsucker family. So I do want to publicly just state my support of the proposed project, and thank you.
Thank you.
Council and Mayor, my name is Michael Gibbs, 3312 Davie Street here in Winterville. I just wanted to say that I'm for the rezoning and appreciate the Hunsuckers listening and agreeing to a lot of terms, you know, and things that we asked for, and really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? If there's no one else, I now declare that the public hearing is closed. And what is the pleasure of the board for the Hunsucker.
Motion to approve the Hunsucker rezoning effective June 30th, as it is consistent with the Winterville Comprehensive Land Plan and in the public interest.
I second.
Have a motion made by Councilwoman Smith, second by Mayor Pro Tem Moy to approve the Hunsucker rezoning request effective June 30th. Is there any discussion before we vote? If not, can you get your clickers, please? A motion carried. Thank you.
I would like to applaud the Hunsuckers and the people in Colonial Woods for working together to come to a common agreement, something they both can agree on, and something that will be good for our community. And that's the only reason that we sent you back to work. Thank you.
Next up is Stella Little rezoning request.
Okay. Last public hearing tonight is the Stella Little rezoning. This is behind Sam's Club. If you look right here, Pitt Community College just to the north. And this is Reedy Branch Road, north to south, with Davenport Farm east to west right here. Applicant is Lennar Homes. Again, this is right beside Sam's Club on Davenport Farm Road and Reedy Branch Road. It's a 25.055 acre site. It's a portion of the principal site that you would see right now. Currently zoned agricultural residential. The request tonight is an R6 conditional district with the following conditions: that all of the units will be single-family detached homes. A minimum of 10% of the site will remain open space upon development, and a dedication of a 70-foot right-of-way for future expansion of Dr. Fulford Road to Reedy Branch Road, which is both the desire of the town of Winterville and of Pitt Community College, as we'll discuss right here in a couple minutes. Notification was placed on this site. Adjacent property owners and those within 100 foot were also informed. We also ran 2 notifications within the Daily Reflector. Again, just to give you a little bit of understanding where we're located, this is Sam's Club right here. So this is located just behind Sam's Club, just south of Pitt Community College. Farmstead is just west of this. So we've got Reedy Branch Road coming north to south, Davenport Farm Road east to west right here. This is the Dr. Fulford Road right here. So the expansion theoretically would be right here between just north of Sam's Club and to Reedy Branch Road on the opposite side. This is a boundary of the rezoning, just showing you where it is in relation to the corner. Looking at the land use, existing, this site is vacant, so you've got a lot of different uses. Just north of it is institutional, Pitt Community College. You've got institutional and a church just on the same parcel as well. You've got a lot of commercial, big box commercial in Sam's Club right here, some gas stations and restaurants as well. You have some residential in single family or rural detached form along this road as well. Current zoning is agricultural residential. Again, they are proposing an R6 conditional district. The thing I really like about proposing an R6 conditional district, as you see, you've got a lot of commercial and general business right here to the east of it. R6 is a perfect transition, especially with the proposed single-family detached. Perfect transition from this heavy commercial to what will be a less intense or less dense residential single-family detached on the opposite side of Reedy Branch Road in the future. Future land use plan portrayed a couple of different uses on this site. So it really kind of focused on that R6 kind of single family detached residential. but it also threw an overlay district, and what we called it was a commercial overlay district right here on this corner as well. Just because there were so many potential uses for this area of town. When we were looking at this and talking to the citizens and talking to the planning designers of this, everybody was seeing that, you know, depending on if this road is widened or there's some significant growth, that it could significantly change the look of this intersection. Again, the R6 single-family detached is an ideal proposal for this site. Looking at the urban neighborhood, again, we're looking at potential zonings. You're looking at typically R12.5, R10, or R8. You can consider R6 or multifamily residential if open space or more amenities are provided. Again, in this case, they're providing 10% open space as well as other amenities on this site. The uses as shown right here is single-family detached residential dominates this zoning classification with approximately 6,000 to 10,000 square foot lots. Again, this is going to be a 6,000 square foot lot, but 10% of the site will be dedicated to open space, so it'll be more, less dense than they could have gone flat out R6. Economic development goals, we're always trying to reinforce the town's identity as a family-friendly community. And in this, supporting residential zones for suburban residential and urban residential as we see tonight. This is purely a sketch plan. None of this has been reviewed by the town, our technical review committee, so it could very well be significantly different than this. But this provides a really good kind of image of where they're referring to the connection from Dr. Fulford Road, which would be terminated right here. It's that hard turn right before you go into to Pitt Community College. And then this is Reedy Branch Road right here. So this is kind of showing you how they could theoretically lay out a single-family detached neighborhood within this area. It would be a highly walkable site with a lot of different restaurants and a lot of different uses right there in that area as well. We have not received any emails of support or concern. Staff is looking at the variety of uses surrounding it. Pitt Community College is to the north, Sam's Club and other regional shopping to the east, Farmstead, which is a single-family detached, to the west. And then looking at the future land use plan, it suggests commercial overlay site or urban neighborhood. This is fitting perfectly into the urban neighborhood proposal, with their conditions of single-family detached homes and a dedication of 10% of the site to remain open space. They are proposing a right-of-way dedication for Dr. Fulford Road to be expanded or extended to Reedy Branch Road. And again, this site is extremely walkable. Great site for entertainment, families, anybody who would want to park their car and be able to walk to things after work. Planning and Zoning approved this at their February meeting 7-1. This does meet our, this is consistent with our comprehensive land use plan and future land use map, and is consistent with the trends and developments within that area. Staff does recommend approval of the Sell a Little rezoning from agricultural residential to R6 conditional district, in which the conditions are, it'll be limited to single-family detached residential. A minimum of 10% of the site shall be designated open space, and that during the construction drawings, a 70-foot right-of-way for the future expansion of Dr. Fulford shall be dedicated. Are there any questions for staff prior to the public hearing?
Stephen, I just want to be very clear, that concept you had in the packet is only a concept.
Yes, ma'am, it's completely a sketch plan concept.
Okay, so that we're not tied to anything.
Correct.
Down the road.
So even, or even the 7-foot extension that we're speaking of, there's nothing definitely, is it, or it's just a proposal?
So with the approval of this rezoning, you would be approving the dedication of that easement. Yes, sir, but it would not, the developer is not proposing to go build that extended road, if that makes sense.
So what will happen to it properly?
So we would hope that in the future, probably the state would take this over and expand this. So right now, Reedy Branch Road is, as it goes directly through Pitt Community College campus, Pitt Community College is really trying right now, and they actually have commissioned a study to look at cutting off Reedy Branch Road and creating a little bit more of a campus feel for Pitt Community College, because right now, it's a significant road going straight through it with an open ditch. So it's not great for pedestrian travel either. So that's something they're considering right now. So this is something that when and if we would figure out the time to create that, then we already have that land dedicated for that use. Which was a major concern of ours when they were first looking at this. We wanted to make sure that if we can get this project done, then this land is dedicated for that use, and there's not homes in the way that we would have to then purchase or tear down or whatever it may be for that project.
We're only speaking of 70 feet.
That's correct, yes, sir.
Now, without that, how many outlets will they have on this?
So without that, they will have two. So they're gonna have one constructed right here on Davenport Farm Road to the south.
Okay.
And then right here at Reedy Branch Road to the north of their site. So they will have two constructed at the time of development. Yes, sir.
Anyone else have any questions? And just for clarity too, we don't want to take over any road.
No, sir.
If it's built, hopefully the state will take it over, because Winterville do not want to take on a road. So make sure that is clear and understood. Okay, I know because there's conversation about opening that up, which I know there is heavy conversation on it, but I made it clear when I was speaking with them also, we do not want the road. Yeah, we welcome the development, but we don't want the road. So.
What part of the road are you speaking of?
Any part of it, any part that's coming from Fulford Road back to Reedy Branch, we don't want any of it. And let that be a state maintained road. We don't have the equipment or the manpower to take care of a road. So just saying that. Now we'll open the public hearing for the Stella property. If there's anyone here that would like to speak against it, could step to the podium, state your name and address if you would like to speak against this rezoning request. Okay. Is there anyone here that would like to speak in favor of the Stella rezoning request? Speak in favor. If you step to the podium, ma'am.
Hey there, good evening. My name is Bronwyn Reedus. I'm a planner. I work for McAdams, and we've been hired by Lennar to help with the rezoning process. And I just want to say thanks for hearing our requests tonight, and thank you so much to Stephen and the rest of Winterville staff who have been really awesome to work with. Stephen gave a really awesome overview. He went through all the details, so don't need to really rehash anything, but we are requesting to rezone this 25-acre parcel from agricultural residential to R6 with those 3 conditions. We're excited about this project. We think it's consistent with your comprehensive land use plan, and we think residents of this neighborhood are going to really enjoy a connected lifestyle, have fun being in such close proximity to restaurants and shopping and Pitt Community College. So thanks so much for your time, and I'll hand it over to John Nabers with Lennar, who will introduce himself.
Hi, my name is John Nevers. I'm a land and talents manager with Lennar. I'm here to answer any questions you may have on product or anything of a related nature, but I second what Bronwyn says. I think this is a great project and a good addition to the community.
Thank you.
Our engineering representative from McAdams as well.
Okay. All right. Anybody? I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I'm Scott Salday. I'm here to represent Lennar in this project for any transportation questions or concerns.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody have any questions? Okay. All right. Anybody else that would like to speak in favor of this project? Anyone else like to speak in favor of this project? Please step to the podium.
Mayor, council members, thanks for your time this evening. I am Chris Lilly. I work for the Overton Group here in Greenville, and we represent the Little family. I just wanted to let you all know that we have many members of the family here in attendance tonight to see through the process. They've owned this land for many decades. Many of them in attendance have lived on this land over time, and they want to see something that benefits the community occur on this property before they're done. So that's their goal, and we appreciate you letting us bring this proposal to you tonight.
Thank you. Anyone else would like to speak in favor? Please step to the podium. If not, I now declare the public hearing closed. What is the pleasure of the board?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the rezoning with an effective date of June the 30th, 2025.
Second.
Have a motion. Have a motion on the floor by motion on the floor by Mayor Pro Tem Moy, second by Councilwoman Hawkins, to approve the rezoning request for the Stella Little property effective June.
I don't think we need an effective date.
You don't need an effective date. Okay. All right. Okay.
I think you can just approve the rezoning. You don't usually attach an effective date.
All right. Okay. All right. So if there's no other questions, can you vote with your clicker, please? Motion's carried. Thank you all for that. And we're going to take a 5-minute recess, please, and we'll be right back. We're coming back from our recess, and next up, we have our public comment section. And we do have one person sign up for our public comment section. So let me read this. Our public comment policy. The public comment period of 30 minutes provide an opportunity for residents to comment on any item included in the agenda or to address the town council on any other matter related to the town of Winterville for an item included in the public hearing section of the agenda. Residents should address the council at the time the mayor invites the public comment on the item. No public comments may be made to the council during the meeting, except during the public comment period as part of the public hearing. Individual speakers are limited to a maximum of 3 minutes, and no more than 3 speakers may address the council on a single matter. The town council may elect to take no action on the matter addressed by a speaker, may schedule the matter for further consideration at a further council meeting, or may refer the matter to the town staff for disposition. Copies of the town public comment periods are available in the rear of the assembly room. And tonight, we do have one, and Matt DeJesus.
Hello, my name is Maddie D. Jesus. I still live at Mill and Boyd intersection. And I want to say that I was so pleased at that Human Relationship Board meeting that you all have where you invited the community out. I went there and I saw the town people all sitting there ready to help with any problems that you had, and I go, oh man, Winterville is on the ball. See, there's a difference between looking at it on YouTube, because there is a mute, M-U-T-E button there, where your voice is mute. You are silent. But when you come here in the meeting, you get a chance to talk to the people. They see your eyes moving and they see your lips flapping. Now, my lips flap when I come. And I want to say that at that last meeting, I complained about a wire that was hanging from a telephone pole that I thought was very dangerous. And I mentioned it to Don, and Don said, it's not a hot wire. So I said, well, I can forget about asking him anything, because he think it's safe. But, so I got on the telephone, and I was going to call the telephone company. I wanted that thing off. So I got on the phone, opened that back door, and I looked, there was no wire hanging there. And I go, wow, what happened? I didn't see anybody do it. So I said, I'm going to the next meeting, and I'm going to ask Don, did you send your crew out to do that, Don? I believe you had something to do with it. You didn't? What? Who did it? The telephone company? What? You did it? You did it. Oh, can I give you a hug?
Go there, Mom.
That is awesome.
The way Winterville is going at this moment.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Miss Matt. And Miss Maddie do live at 2418 Mill Street. At 2418 Mill Street. What you got down here, Miss Maddie? Okay, all right. But thank you, Miss Maddie. All right. And next up is a consent agenda. Second. Have a motion by Councilwoman Robinson, second by Mayor Pro Tem Moy, to approval of the consent agenda. Any questions on that? If none, get your clickers. Vote by clickers. Motion carried. There's no old business, so we're gonna move to the new business. And the new business is the fiscal year 2025-2026 budget ordinance. And I turn that over to our town manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. You have the budget ordinance before you to approve the fiscal year 25-26 budget. And with that said, we will wait for council approval, hopefully.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the 25, and 26 budget.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor by I have a motion on the floor by Mayor Pro Tem Moore and a second by Councilwoman Smith to accept the 2025-26 budget ordinance.
Yes, it's hard to believe we're
Right.
saying 25,
Okay.
26.
Is any discussion before we vote?
I do. I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a question that can be referenced on the allocations within the budget, namely 3 questions that probably can be quickly answered, but I do have a question. You're going to find the first source of my question on page 8 out of the 49 pages, and it's with regards to information technology. I just know that we do not have, who do we have in terms of information technology that is being paid for by town, or is it contracted? I just want a little bit more clarification on this portion of the budget.
Yes, ma'am. So we have had a longstanding contract with a company called VC3. They are based out of Columbia, South Carolina, but we deal predominantly, well, with the Raleigh office, but they do have folks scattered everywhere. They have, gosh, we've been under contract with them for more than 10 years. And so they do our wholesale information technology, including website management, our phones, all of our computers, our virtual office product, etc. And so they also are the folks that employ our security measures with our computer system. And you will see an increase. That is not solely what we pay BC3. That line item, contracted services, encompasses several companies that we have software with, etc. But what we do pay BC3 and the increase thereof includes some of the additional security measures that we'll be employing into our system.
Thank you. And with that, in terms of the website and the website management, when we speak of updating website and doing a variety of things, is this the source of who's doing the updates and stuff like that?
So the updates to the current website are done in-house.
In-house.
We have content management. It's an old product, so the actual current website will be phasing out at the end of the month. The updated website, we have an internal web committee of staff, and so the new draft, I'll call it, will be deployed to the web committee, and then they'll get trained. But what's included in the updated website is an updated content management system. It'll better enable us to update our website on an ongoing basis. Currently, the content management, without getting too specific, it's challenging to add pages, etc. So this new content management will allow us to have a better moving, ebb and flowing website as we move forward.
Mm-hmm. And the reason for my question is that we are in the age of AI, artificial intelligence. We're moving in lightning speed in terms of technology. So when I saw this in the budget, I wanted to ask that question. Thank you for answering, and if I have any additional questions, I will ask you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
I do have another item in terms of the budget, and that is animal control.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you please share with me, the monies and the details in the budget? Because and/or what staff is handling that? Because that has been an item that I brought up multiple times.
Yes, ma'am. So the monies in animal control are plug figures currently, as we've not been doing animal control internally. So we've been working with the county to try to contract with them so that their animal control services would be extended to Winterville. Chief Williams has met with the director of animal control. I think that was week before last. And I, that same week, met with the county manager. The county has agreed to cautiously move forward with a contract with the town. I'll explain what that means in a minute. And we anticipate carrying it to our respective boards in August. So what that means is we will need to adopt the county animal control ordinance in its total form. And if there's any specific Winterville additions that we would like to make, we would certainly include those. But I think as we get closer to actually going under contract with the county, we would want to make sure that the citizens are aware that the county service is a county-wide service. So if you have an issue and you call county animal control, and the animal control officer that's working could be across the county. In other words, it's not like a response in a few minutes. It could be a bit of time. So I think that that'll be just an educational purposes. I think that the county manager, and I would agree, we don't want to set expectations that are unrealistic. But I certainly think that the county's capable of performing those duties for the town. They already do it for several other communities in the county. So do believe, hopefully, for this, you all to vote on it. It'll be a contract much like they have with Aiden currently. And upon approval, it will take effect in August, I'm sure, or at least the first part of September, if things go through. And again, we will then do a pretty detailed educational campaign on what people can expect in terms of response times and cats specifically. I know that's an ongoing issue, and so there'll just be some expectations that we need to set so that people aren't disappointed right out of the gate.
Thank you, Town Manager Parker. These lined items with these different figured amounts in the budget, where is this being disseminated? Is this being held? Is this gonna then be for prospective, contracted services, supplies? How can I explain this to anyone?
So sure, if somebody asks you, that was a budget with some increased cost based off what it cost us to run the program. Again, we haven't done that since COVID, so not knowing if a contract was going to be forthcoming, we were prepared to then back up and look back at trying to reinstitute a part-time function like we had previously. If we are able to contract with the county, then my suggestion was the cost that we would just absorb that as part of the contractual costs for the county, which I don't know what that number is currently. But I think Aiden's annual contractual amount is somewhere around $25,000.
Thank you. So you said prospectively, this would be absorbed into the county towards the cost with the county. When this does occur, can you please update us and let us know? Because I'm looking for any additional monies that could go for the multi-purpose center. So these were just some items that I had a question of, and thank you for that explicit explanation. Thank you so much.
If I may, one more thing on that.
Sure.
I would have liked to have been able to have that contractual cost and have it part of the actual budget, but it just wasn't ready. We're not quite there. So obviously this is gonna require a budget amendment early in the budget process. Okay. But we felt like a much more detailed number was obviously more beneficial to ask you to consider. And so we're very close, but that's why it wasn't part of the actual budget process this evening.
Okay. So what I hear you say is that this wasn't part of the budget?
No, I'm sorry, what we're gonna pay the county for a contract, that's not in the budget document because we don't know what that number is yet.
Okay. So once we approve, then everything would be, just for me.
Right.
I don't know about anybody else. I want to be clear on what's happening with these monies?
Okay, so if you approve the budget ordinance tonight, those monies are approved.
Okay.
So let's say the contractual amount with the county, let's just use the plug figure of 25,000.
Mhm.
So then what we would have to amend the budget for would be 25,000 minus that total number, and I don't have that document.
Thank you. Mhm.
But it would be the differential between. Does that make sense?
Thank you, yeah. And it's 10,000.
Okay.
Oh. Thank you. And my last question was, we had a conversation about 2 new vehicles for the police department. At some point, does or will council be shared in terms of what those vehicles are, how much those vehicles were? And the reason for my question is 2 other vehicles were going to be, I guess, auctioned off. So then those monies coming back, just monies in general, what's going out and what's coming in? That is my question.
So in terms of police cars, we're really down to a very few choices. It used to be that there were various and sundry, I will call them sedans or cars themselves that we could choose from. We're basically down to, and Chief, jump in if I'm wrong, but SUVs, trucks predominantly. So I think you could expect those 2 vehicles to be SUVs and or trucks. In terms of, so we would order those, and we order off a state contract. So fortunately, all of the bidding and whatnot's already been done by the state. And once those vehicles are ordered, eventually the 2 that we recycled out, we will put on, you've heard me talk about gov deals. So for what, assuming that those vehicles sell, and they usually do, that they don't sell for a lot normally. They're pretty worn out by the time that they make gov deals, but that money just comes back into the general fund.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Okay. If there's no other questions, if you could get your clickers, please, and vote on the budget. Budget passed.
Staff would like to thank you, council, for passing the budget. We look forward to the new budget year.
And I'd like to thank you all too for your time that you took for the 3 sessions that we had. We appreciate everyone attendance, the council, and appreciate all the questions and everything each one of you had. So thank you all. Next up is the fire department master plan and EMS feasibility study, RFQ, and turn it over to our chief.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Manager. This is the master plan that we've been talking about for, well, probably since the last one in 2014-15. We did advertise for proposals and qualifications back in February, and that was advertised on the town website and in the Daily Reflector. We did receive half a dozen responses. And what you have in the abstract before you is a company, AP Triton. They're based in Wyoming, but they have a team that works out of New Hanover and Pender County, down in that area. They were the highest scoring firm that responded. The budget amendment that you voted on a few minutes ago covered the cost of this, and there is the expectation is 6 to 9 months for the completion of the project. I'll answer any questions you might have.
Chief, it's not unusual in this day and time in the era of computers and whatnot for a company out west to
Oh, absolutely.
bid on something like this and deliver it accordingly.
Absolutely, and it was reassuring that they do have a team that's, 80 miles away. Very, very well-rounded team with a lot of experience.
You did say that it take what, how long?
6 to 9 months.
And after that period, what will be the next step?
Well, we'll have a final report that's basically got a laundry list of everything. So it'll give us a plan anticipated for the next 5 years.
And our vision is what? What is your vision on this at the end?
to have a very comprehensive report with some tangible items that we can implement, use for planning, things like that.
So in 2014 it was the last one. You may recall the presentation, Mayor Pro Tem Boyd, the consultant comes, gives a presentation, talks about the top things that you need to focus on. And again, the time frame is 5 years. Clearly, it may or may not, we may or may not complete that list in 5 years, because I'm gonna guess that there's some big ticket items, but it's very much like any other master plan we do or comprehensive plan. It sets the stage for how the department should move forward.
A lot of planning, a lot of operational items. Some of the documents we need, things like when we apply for grants and stuff, you've got to have a lot of information on the front end that we don't necessarily have without somebody putting it together.
This is just like the two plans we just did for Parks and Rec in terms of setting the stage for funding applications, but it also is a tool for the department itself moving forward.
Well, you said this is sort of like a roadmap.
Absolutely.
Get us where we need to be going.
Right. And that's what I was thinking about, you know, even with the growth that we have on the west side right now, the future growth. And if that does come by, we definitely need that vision that I think that you're putting in place.
They'll be charged with anticipating our growth and how that affects fire and EMS in a whole variety of ways. Population and travel distances, response times, just everything.
And I think it's also important to look at the fact that it's going to cover EMS as well, because that is something that we have to discuss as soon as we can after the master plan's done about what the future of EMS is for Winterville.
Thank you.
Any more questions for Chief Moore? Okay.
I'd like to move that we approve for staff to sign the contract and enter into agreement with AP Triton.
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilwoman Smith, second by Councilwoman Hawkins, to approve the contract with.
Yes, sir, signing the agreement.
Signing the agreement, okay. For the feasibility study. All right, if there's no discussion, can you please vote?
Thank you.
Thank you. It was approved unanimously. Next up is Brightspeed.
We have one
Oh,
resolution.
Resolution, I'm sorry. I was trying to jump ahead. Recreation professional design service for McGill's and Associates. Oh, resolution, oh, Lord. Resolution 25R-065, opposing HB 765, that's House Bill 765. And turn it over to the manager.
Thank you, Mayor. So I included the draft that we had at the time in your agenda packet. It's fairly lengthy, but you all have heard a lot of conversation, I'm sure, about House Bill 765, and there's lots of reasons why we should oppose this bill. And the county recently adopted a resolution opposing such. Several of our neighboring towns have opposed it, and I'm asking for the reasons stated predominantly by Stephen in this supporting documentation is certainly not inclusive of all of the problems and issues with House Bill 765. But with that said, we've drafted an ordinance opposing it and hopes that council will approve that.
I move that we approve the resolution.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Robinson, second by Councilwoman Hawkins.
Dr. Harrell.
I'm sorry. By Councilwoman Dr. Harrell, I apologize.
Okay.
To approve House Bill, approve the resolution of House Bill. Hold on. Let me back up. Resolution 25R-065, 065, opposing House Bill 765. Okay. I apologize. I've been dealing with this House 765. Y'all just don't know how long. So, but is any discussion? If none, please vote. Pass unanimously. And the reason I said House Bill 765 because it's been going through all the mayors, and we had to sign on to same a resolution through all the mayors. That was asking all the mayors to sign on to same one.
And you all may see some additional resolutions opposing some other legislation, proposed legislation. And we're trying to just talk with the league, get a handle on the effects on municipalities. So there may be some others forthcoming.
Now, right speed encroachment agreement.
Correct.
Okay.
So folks, we've been working with Brightspeed and trying to update that. Brightspeed, formerly CenturyLink, formerly et cetera, et cetera. They've done a lot of things over the years. That's your current CenturyLink group, but we're trying to get pole attachment agreements updated. We're trying to get encroachment agreements updated. What you have before you is King Lassiter approved encroachment agreement, and we ask council to approve it accordingly.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilwoman Robinson, second by Dr. Brandon Harrell, Councilwoman Dr. Brandon Harrell. Is there any discussion? Okay. If there's no discussion, could you vote with your clicker, please?
I'm sorry.
It approved unanimously.
I do think you'll be seeing an associated pole attachment agreement forthcoming. I know Ken and Anthony have been working on that document as well. So maybe by our August meeting.
Okay. Thank you.
Would they be bringing service? They're trying to bring service here in Winterville. Is that right?
They're trying to do some upgrades and whatnot, and because they're Brightspeed now and not, I think our previous agreements have a different company name. So it's a matter of trying to make sure that we've got an updated pole count, that our encroachment agreements are updated with the current company.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Next up is other agenda items, and the first one on the agenda is Pitt Community College, Councilwoman Hawkins.
Yes, good evening. I just wanted to provide an update. I've been speaking in terms of me communicating with the business department and the business division of Pitt Community College to expand trade programs such as esthetician, natural hair care, and nail technicians. This is finally going to be done. They have been looking for a space. They have been looking for instructors. They have an outlook and an overview of this taking a little bit over a year to be implemented. I would encourage the town council to continue or to actually join with me in keeping this at the top of Pitt Community College's long list of to-dos. Those trades are geared towards a variety of women and men in the beauty field outside of cosmetology. This expands trade here in Winterville for small business owners and those who want to expand throughout the state. So again, like I've shared, these programs of esthetician, natural hair care, and nail technicians are courses and programs that are available at every single other neighboring community college. I believe that Pitt County is deserving of the same program and more. Ms. Clyde with the business division has been encouraging me and working with me and speaking with me and meeting with me to ensure that this is done. So my role as council is to bring this back to the rest of the council, the mayor, and more importantly, the people of Pitt County, and especially here in Winterville. We will be getting those programs, and I will continue to ensure that it is in progress.
Thank you. Next up, number 2, you have constitutional rights, Councilwoman Hawkins.
Yes, so I put this on the agenda because constitutional rights are very valuable right now in the country and the time we are living in. And if you do not highlight or point out constitutional rights, they will be violated. It will become a norm to see your exercising of your constitutional rights as an aggravation. I want to quickly say that the Constitution of the United States was enacted many, many years ago to afford freedoms, to everyone. And before it was ratified, Federalists, a group of people spoke out because they did not want their rights to be governed by the federal government. They wanted individual rights as well. And these became articles and then transformed into the Bill of Rights. There are 10 amendments in which we highlight and speak of from time to time. I am going to be speaking about the First Amendment right. We have a right to free speech. We have a right to questions. And these rights should not be abridged or stifled or act like it is being demonized. I, as a town councilwoman, have a right and a role to speak, right? I have a right and a role to speak to the press, if that is what I so choose to do. That is a constitutional right. I spoke about a concern regarding our chief of police last month in terms of being held at a higher standard. I spoke about this because, again, I am in representation not just for myself as a citizen, but for the people who elected me to be here. And I received some support and confirmation, but I also received backlash. I want us to be careful in what we look at as trouble or troublemaking. When you're speaking on behalf of people and serious concerns and things that, as I shared with Chief Williams, it's not personal, it is purposeful, and he understands that, right? When you're speaking in terms of things that are important to people, you're going to get support and backlash. I would caution those who are looking as if she has questions about this or that, or she's complaining. I am communicating on behalf of the community. I want to point out that our former councilperson who sat on the board for over 20 years, Tony Moore, sat on this board and said that it was time that we have a white woman sit on the council because they hold the majority of the population. He did not receive backlash. He did not receive concerns. And we have to understand that that was his right to say that, but some things are focused more on as troublesome and not. When I ask questions about anything on the agenda or the town's business, my questions are for transparency, my questions are for accountability, and my questions are because I'm here of the people, by the people, and for the people. There's another amendment that is the Fifth Amendment, and that is exercise freely here and out and about. And that is the right to remain silent. I have been, when I speak, I have been almost given the cold shoulder, and it's like, next, move on. But I am acknowledging what I am saying, and that it is very important that you have a council person that identifies concerns, identifies celebrations, because if we do not have a concern, that is a problem when you have a growing town. Lastly, I just want to say, those frequent repeat, I won't say repeat offenders, but I would say repeat defenders of those who are expressing that I am against the police. They know nothing about me. They don't know my background or those relationships that I have with law enforcement. I would invite those frequent defenders to come and speak with me, because I said what I said and I'm not budging. That's what I needed to say.
Thank you. Next up is advertisement, Councilwoman Hawkins.
And so I wanted to bring up advertisements. I know we just touched on advertisements where Town Manager Parker was talking about the websites and how those will be updated as we move along. I also spoke to advertisements in terms of events that are happening here in Winterville, and just questions about a digital board and things of that nature. I want to keep this at the surface because advertisements speak to those who are in the town as well as those who are going through the town. And while we have lots of things that are going on in Winterville, if one does not know how to get on the website and navigate, they can get lost. I would like to applaud Mr. Harvey for all that he does to promote the advertisement. He does a great job in that he listens to hear what we want, and he does what is within his capacity. I would like to encourage the town to think about AI and think about the advertisement and how this is pushed out. I don't know, it's not in the budget for digital boards, but we need to come up with something that can be put around the town to share and promote events. Speaking, when we were talking at the community roundtable, we touched on Winterville at Work, the app. I was one who spoke for an app that could inform residents immediately in real time of things that are occurring. We did talk about myself. I take accountability as a leader to say when I've done something and when I did not. No, I do not have the app, and I shared why. I saw it as something asking for too many or too much personal information. It had .gov on it, and I would say that a lot of the townspeople or constituents that I spoke to were not comfortable in that. I did share that we should demonstrate how to get on the app, what the app has on it. Today, I was in contact with Town Manager Parker we had a brief outage in which I would like to applaud the electric department and Mr. Ron Mills for getting that back on. But with an app such as this, we need to have something in real time that people have on their phones that would have shared with them what was going on, when it occurred, and when it was resolved. I don't know if this is occurring. Perhaps in August we can have a demonstration, or maybe in July. I think Town Manager Parker said we might have some sort of a workshop, but the people of Winterville need to know about what is going on, and that is my piece on advertisement.
Thank you.
If I may, we did put it on GoGov when the outage occurred and when it was restored. But yes, ma'am, your comment on demonstration is noted. And so we're trying to figure out the best way to do that, whether it's a presentation in the August meeting or something, and also maybe a video, as we talked about, uploading to YouTube. So we are trying to get that, and we've had some good folks reach out to offer their assistance in helping with videos, et cetera. So we'll let you know and keep you apprised as we get that done.
Thank you.
Okay. And next up is items for further future agenda future work sessions. Does anybody have anything? If not, they could, of course, send it in to Don. Or if you have something there you want to express.
Yes, I do. On June 20th, the Winterville, I can say it now, the Winterville Human Relations Board will be having a Juneteenth Movie in the Park event on June 20th. Flyers will be distributed possibly tomorrow. We are going to blast it out. This will include the movie Soul. We will also have speakers as well as a wonderful guest of dancers. The New Look Steppers will be coming out again. They will be coming out on June 18th at the Chamber of Commerce Market on the square, as the theme will also be Juneteenth. So I just wanted the public to know that we will be having those two things. And please come and join us.
Thank you. Anybody else have any?
Just very briefly, I'm very excited to see the paving project downtown up here and approved, and excited about moving forward. I know this often comes up. Just a quick update, you may be able to do this now on Cemetery and with the new portion, and are we ready to sell?
Not quite. We just got I talked with Anthony, so I've got to determine, and he's out of town. That's not why he's in a school. That's why he's not with us this evening. But I believe that, and maybe Cliff can help me, I believe that the survey has been done. We were waiting on the report.
There were conversations, the survey, and then the stormwater permit.
And we did come up with a little glitch that involved CMSD property in that area and some of where the proposed road goes. So we've got to talk with CMSD about, there was a discussion previously about potential giving us back the land we gave them. They didn't need all of it. Anyway, that's a conversation we need to happen. It's moving forward, but we're trying to nail down the specifics of what the survey brought forward. Thank you, Cliff.
What about the sign at the other cemetery?
So I've been working with staff, and I think they've come up with a better solution than what we have proposed for actually raising the whole thing up. And as soon as we figure out what that's going to entail and don't see any hiccups with the permitting folks, obviously it's outside of town in terms of who we need to get permits for, we'll try to give you all a time frame of when to expect that.
All right, is any other? Okay, if not, as the announcement, you can see the attachment of the announcements. You can govern yourself accordingly to what's on the announcements. The announcements are published.
Yes. There you go.
Yes, sir, Mr.
Yes, sir, and I decided, especially this month, since it was going to be a long time till we met again, to use them as an attachment, and I encourage you to pull it off, put it on your refrigerator or wherever, and helps you, remind you of those things. All of those, to the best of my knowledge, are on the calendar, the town calendar, and try to keep people abreast of those activities.
Thank you.
And if you notice in the Daily Reflector and in the Standard, they did articles about the listening sessions for America 250. The last one is in Bonneville. I think it's on the 20th. And the County Human Relations Board you know, sponsor those. And, oh, it's on the 17th. 17th at 6 o'clock at the library in Farmington. So we'll tell our story. We don't want Winterville left out in the city. I plan to go.
All right. Thank you. All right, we're gonna start with Attorney Lassiter.
Thank you, Mayor. I have no report tonight.
Okay, Councilwoman Smith.
Just a thank you to everybody. We've recently, since we met, celebrated Memorial Day, D-Day recently. We have Flag Day coming up, 4th of July. Thank you to all who have served, active duty, reserve, spouses, children. One of our new officers is former military. We thank everybody for what you've done to support us. We do not live in a perfect country, but I do believe we live in the greatest country in the world, and we thank everybody for all that you've done through the years. Getting ready to celebrate our 250th. We are grateful and thankful for the opportunity to be here in Winterville and to serve the community.
Councilwoman Robertson.
I'd like to thank everybody that did anything to help us get a budget and have it approved tonight. We do appreciate it greatly. I know your department heads had to cut out some things that they wanted or they felt that they needed and may have to go back and give them to them, but we do appreciate that. Appreciate those of you that are sitting with us in this meeting at this time, because usually pretty clear around here, but we do appreciate that. And all my board members here, that time and effort you put into looking at that budget and making sure that we have a budget that reflects our community.
Mayor Pro Tem.
I'd just like to say thank you, staff. Thank you very much for all that you do. Thank you, town manager, for being the chief. And you got good followers. I think this board, awesome board, this council board. And most of all, I thank the citizen for all that we do. We can disagree, but we always can come to an agreement once we get around the table. And that was proven tonight. Just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you.
Dr.
I'd like to say thank you, of course, to our staff. I also would like to lift up Tristan. I think she has already left. She has been working alongside with me with the director of Right for Revival as I brought that forward. So she will be meeting with the director this week to speak about Winterville locations to make sure that the food insecurity will be taken care of and things of that nature. So I just wanted to kind of give her a shout out as well. Also, congratulations. This is an exciting time for Winterville. Huge congratulations to all the graduates from Pitt County Schools. Looks like D.H. Conley and South Central had a total number of 838 graduates. And so we are super, super excited for the graduates, for their families. And I know that number will grow as summer school folks come in and graduate as well. So congratulations to all graduates, especially the Pitt County Schools and Winterville graduates. Last but not least, June is Men's Mental Health Month. So I want to make sure that we recognize fathers, sons, brothers, mentors, and leaders in our community who carry silent battles. Your mental health and your well-being matters. And I would like to say we want to continue not just safe spaces, but brave spaces for you all as men to heal, grow, and thrive together. So instead of telling our young men or telling you all as men to man up, I encourage you to speak up. Thank you.
Councilwoman Hawkins.
Thank you. Yes, I would like to thank the staff for attending the Winterville Human Relations Board Community Roundtable this past May 28th. You all showed up. It showed just cohesiveness and understanding as we spoke about the core of the human relations. It meant a lot, and I just want to tell you, thank you for showing up. I would like to say Happy Father's Day. Upcoming Sunday will be Father's Day. I do not have my father here physically anymore, but he is with me every single day. And fathers, you guys are really, really pivotal in the development and just in the future. Like what you do today helps the future. So thank you, fathers. I'd also like to say that tomorrow is the last day of school for many. Woohoo! So a lot of students are really excited about it being the last day of school. I would like for us as a community to keep a watch out for youth that you will see out and about. We are having some extreme weather right now. Hopefully they are in some sort of programs that they can continue to cultivate what they have learned this year, as well as continue to check on our elderly. Lastly, I would like to say, as the temperature is rising, because we are not meeting again in July, I would like for all of us as staff, council, just a town in general, to stay leveled-headed. The temperature is rising, but we need to stay balanced in our thought, in our communication, and in our collaboration. Finally, I would like to thank the people of Winterville for entrusting me every single day, and not just temporary here or there, but supporting me and entrusting me that I continue to do the job for you, because ultimately the people are at the top of this organization. Thank you.
So I did want to say one more thing. I'm back. So I want to just say one more thing. As I congratulate the high school graduates, I attended the W.H. Robinson Kindergarten graduation and awards day, and I just want to say that they did an amazing job. Yes, the power went out during their graduation. Thank you to the staff that got the power back up. Kudos to the teachers, the administration, the principal, and the students, because they were really calm. They kept going, and they finished their graduation with no power. But just congratulations, and I just wanted to say a shout out, as the principal gave to the kindergartners. They will be the class of 2037. Thank you. Oh my gosh.
I don't have a report, Mayor.
I'd just like to thank everybody, and also to Father's Day is coming up, and happy Father's Day to all the fathers that's out there. Appreciate everything you do. Also, thank you to the town for sending a flower on behalf of the town to Marlon Lee's family. It was greatly appreciated. I attended the service. It was a long outgoing, but it shows the type of person that he was. He was a community person, and it really showed. But again, thank y'all for that. And as we embark here today, we won't be back until August, but we will have an early August meeting, correct?
Correct.
All right, August 4th, right? And
So we're not gonna work on the strategic plan?
On the strategic plan, we're not there yet.
We're not gonna do that. I thought maybe we were gonna do that.
So there's some questions the league has. We'll need to work through.
And so, Johnny, August the 4th, I will be here. I don't leave until August the 7th, so I will be present for the August 4th meeting. I thought I would be gone. I remember I told you I might be gone, but I'll be here for the August 4th meeting. So with that being said, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Can I get a
Motion to adjourn.
all right? Hit your clickers. Motion to adjourn. No, Ms. Robinson, then it was Dr. Morrell. Dr. Morrell. Luther.